Good morning. It is Crystal Ball Tuesday. It's Tuesday, August 20th, 2019. And today in Bitcoin, we have some good news and I think we have some bad news. But first, let's pause by the disclaimer. You can read through this. This isn't trading advice. This is my market observations. And today I'm going to start off with a little bit of my morning routine. I get up each morning and I go through all the markets on Poloniex and I grade them against our simple trading plan to give us a bullish and bearishness ratio. And we can see that we have more of our neutral coins have come back into a near fail status. These are 1, 2, 3 bottom formations that are almost failing. And we may get that pissing off the roof formation, as the crypto sniper calls it. If Bitcoin is going to go parabolic up from here, I think all these alts are going to be falling back into the fail category again and going down to new lows. And then we go through the Binance spreadsheet, and I go through this whole Binance spreadsheet, every single market on Binance, and we review it together, myself and AOL Chandra. Pardon me. And so each day we go through all of these markets, and you can see that we also have a bunch of the neutral markets that have fallen back into a near fail status, and a bunch of the near fails have turned into fail status. So if Bitcoin is going up more, we can already see that the alts are suffering. So this is a great part of the morning routine for me to get an overall view of what's going on in the crypto markets. And if you want to have this work done for you every day, you can become a patron for $15 a month. You get this spreadsheet and reports included as your patron sponsor. The next thing I go through is the Binance spreadsheet to get into the detail for our pro subscribers to say, what is the target entry on each of these coins? What is our profit targets? What's our stop loss? Let's take a screenshot of this and study the trade type of it. We know our risk to reward ratio. We watch our stop losses. And then I prepare a PDF that is sent out to all of our pro subscribers every day so that you know exactly what coins we're holding, what the stop loss is, what our profit and loss is on them for Binance and for Poloniex. And then I post those details now on our new Patreon setup, where you can get the spreadsheet for $15 a month plus some additional training. Or you can also get the Executive Alerts PDF summary here on our Patreon channel. Then the next thing I do is I dig into Bitcoin because I want to journal this every day so that I am making this for my future self. I can come back and send myself a message to the future from today. The main thing I'm studying is the 1, 2, 3 formation, and I'm studying it against these 4 different indicators on all the time frames. So I have a recording of what was happening this day, every day, so I can always look back and say, what was I thinking on that day according to my trading plan, and how did it turn out? So now we're looking at the weekly view of the relative strength index for Bitcoin. We have 3 exhaustion candles to the top and an exhaustion candle to the bottom, so there's a battle going on. We can see these moving averages are losing a bit of steam in the short-term time frame on the weekly view. Now the RSI has been giving us a divergence here for a while. We see pretty much a flat top maybe, and descending, if we ignore those wicks, and a descending RSI. That it's come back to these important historical levels and hesitated could mean that we're on a parabolic move up from here. But if it breaks below these levels and goes down on the weekly, I think we're going to be taking another while and a dip down to create a larger 1, 2, 3 formation here and a much greater ascending triangle. Pardon me. Let's zoom in on this now. On the weekly view, I'm looking at this divergence here and watching for RSI to hold strength off of these levels and build strength. If it's going to start to ease off on this front corner, that's not going to be good. But we have a really clear area where if prices break below that, we are going down. This is where prices hit the skids as the RSI is breaking below those levels. And every time we're bouncing off and coming off these levels, we are seeing strength. So we're coming down to an important decision point, looking at the 1-day RSI. In the weekly, no, this is the 12-hour. I'm looking at what is this trend line now with the RSI. When that trend line breaks at this time frame, we're dumping every time that breaks. So I don't know if it's going to keep going up. That's good. So will the price. But if it breaks this level, the price isn't going up. If we zoom in now to the 4-hour time frame, it broke that trend line here. Doom. And on the 4-hour, we've already had our exponential moving average crossover. On the 12-hour, we've already had our exponential moving average crossover. So these are my two big exits out of a trade that would have been two big entrances back here when those exponential moving averages crossed in, and now they're crossing out. And so it's a real precarious time right now. In between this area is like a no trade zone as we were watching it. Or if you're trading, it's a micro trade zone. We're going around a corner now. We don't want to put the nitro on when you're going around a corner. Well, zooming into the 1 hour, now this trend line is broken more significantly right here. And clear that off. Let me put in this double top. We got, well, I don't know. This is a specific type of divergence that I would say is showing weakness as we come up to this. And especially with the break of this downtrend line. And I want to observe that one over the next few days too. And actually, I'll go back to my videos to watch what was building up these last couple days as this built in. Those are my lessons for trading. 1 hour time frame. Let's zoom into the 15-minute time frame. Now it's getting shorter time frame, and we can start to see a 1, 2, 3 top formation here. 1, 2, 3, and it broke right below those support and resistance levels. Now we have a larger 1, 2, 3 formation setting up, and a break below these levels is now what I would say is a nested 1, 2, 3 bottom, or 1, 2, 3 top. And the more of these that nest together, the more and more powerful they are. We saw them nesting here, a little 1, 2, 3, and then it broke out and it created a deeper 1, 2, 3, and finally it broke higher than that. So we're also breaking out of this larger, coming back to retest the number 2 point, and this could be a buy signal as I go back out to a larger time frame. What is this now? 4 hour. Let me go to the 1 hour time frame. So we can see the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation setting up here. Our buy signal is on the breakout. It's one of our places to buy, but this fake out breakouts happen so often that we can wait for it to come back and retest. And once it's retested our number 2 point here, this is an alternate potential entry point on strength. So we've got a couple different options now as it's making this formation, and this happens every time we get a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breakout and the price comes back to retest the number 2 point. We always have this decision to make. It's either going to break lower, and we shouldn't have got in here with any kind of size of position, right? A small position, and then we add on when we're correct. So if it breaks down, then we get out of that trade. The trend isn't proven yet. If it breaks higher than here, this is a really strong confirmation of the trend being confirmed. So this is a really key setup here. Forgive me for going on in detail, but I'm sort of making this up again for my future self so I can come back and nail this if this kind of situation comes up again. Now let's go on to the next indicator, the on balance volume. I like this one because of studying it in history to see that these divergences mean something when we have a strong rally up and good volume, and we have a good rally up but not as strong volume. It is proving to be a sell signal. It is proving to be a divergence that's worth paying attention to in these longer time frames. And all the way down here, it's worth paying attention to all the way through this setup here. It doesn't feel to me like it's building momentum here and having all sorts of buying that is scooping up everything that comes down. It's not giving it to me yet. It seems not. From this chart, not. So this is kind of the bad news in Bitcoin as I'm going through this stuff, and I'm seeing this volume pattern at the right-hand side of the corner, and we're seeing our exponential moving averages have crossed negative, and they're kind of flaring negative here at the tip. If I clear that off, you can see that. This is all looking bearish to me right off this, and that we have those nested 1, 2, 3 tops. It had better not break below these levels. This is the better view of it now that I see some volume coming in off this shoulder. Okay, but that's on the 1 hour time frame. We really had to zoom in on that. And wow, that's a different view on the 15-minute time frame. This is a lot of dumping going on, and the price is holding where it is. So when it breaks, there's a whole bunch of people who are short that are happy and they're going to be adding on. There's a whole bunch of people who are long who are going to be wrong, and they'll have to be switching their positions, and that'll make prices move fast. Those two forces together. Right on a precarious spot for sure. It's a buy signal above this range and a sell signal below it in small increments. So we're looking at the 15-minute time frame. Now, this is where it gets more spooky for me. The MACD indicator, we've been watching for so long to see when this crossover happens, because it didn't happen on the uptrend before. If you haven't seen this episode where I go through these details, let me pull the chart back a little bit so that we can see this. Because the the MACD indicator didn't cross negative here all the way through this uptrend. And then we went parabolic. And so now, if we pull this back to where we are today, and I go into the weekly view, bring this open again, we can see that it's a clear cross, and we've gotten a negative histogram going on here. So for me, that's really bearish overall in the longer term. Now, if we zoom into the daily, I've been consistently going back and comparing our present situation to this potential here, where prices did come up like we just finished doing, and then they made their way significantly down as this stayed crossed to the negative pretty much all the way through that move down. So we've crossed over, we've crossed to the negative, but the histogram has done a little bit of a pull up here as we've been, sort of sucking in our gut here. But is it enough to hold, or is this a turnaround or continuation? This will start to tell us as it's crossing and going positive, but right now it still is giving me that negative divergence across these tops. It's a deeper sell. And until that crosses positive and gives us the positive divergence, we're still not getting the answer. We're still in the middle of this massive triangle. So from this, no, nothing. Bearish earlier, nothing conclusive here. On the 12-hour time frame, this is actually crossing positive and crossing positive. So there may be some of that enough momentum here, and the 4-hour should start to reveal that for us. Let's zoom in on that. 4-hour says positive, but getting weaker at the tip. So it backs up that there was this run up, but it's not showing that it's flaring more positive and showing that it's accelerating. It's showing that right at this tip here, it's actually decelerating. Now, as we go into the 1 hour, it is already showing the deceleration has happened to losing momentum and going down. And that's an important break of what we had as a trend line of up crosses in that MACD indicator. So all of these things that I'm putting together starting to give me an overall bearish feel that this is going to be breaking, and I want to pay attention to what's going on underneath these prices for sure. 1 hour time frame, 15-minute time frame. What are you telling us? Okay, kind of catching positive just at the tip here. It does show negative and a negative divergence as we have higher highs. This is lower highs, so this is not positive at all for our setup. Overall, this would be telling me that this is going to break negative. So cool to see it. Let's see what happens tomorrow. If this actually breaks negative, we'll be talking about it in our Discord chat. There's a link down below. Come and join us. We talk about this all day long. And I only can do this live stream once a day. Let's go on to the Ichimoku cloud. On the weekly view, twist to the positive. Everything's all good here. We could bounce around a long time. Almost no need to look at the weekly view. The daily view now, I'm looking to see cooperation, positive or negative. The Ichimoku cloud kicked my ass the last little while when we got into the 4-hour time frame and the 1 hour time frame. I was betting against it, and it was right. So now I'm paying more attention to it. And the daily doesn't tell me anything. I'm not seeing nothing. 12-hour time frame, also inconclusive. And what I'm looking for, there's 4 things. The blue and the red line crossing. If they cross negative, it's like a moving average is crossing negative. The fast moving average below the slow moving average. The second thing in the Ichimoku cloud is the cloud positive or negative? Red is negative. The third thing is the price above or below the cloud. If it's below the cloud, that's more bearish. If it's above the cloud, that's more bullish. So this is kind of inconclusive in the middle, which is typical. We're making a big triangle. There is no answer really. Then the fourth thing I'm looking for is this trailing green line. Does it cut through everything? It should cut through all of them one way or the other to make a conclusive statement on that. So let's go into the 4-hour time frame and see if we get some more detail here. Move it back. The cloud is almost twisting positive. That's one, but not quite. This is crossed positive. This is cut through everything. The green line is cut through everything, but the price isn't above the cloud. So we need two more components for this to confirm that it's a buy signal. But if this continues to go back to red, the green crosses through everything, and the blue line then crosses below the red as we're coming out of this cloud, it's a major sell signal in a downtrend. That's what the Ichimoku cloud is good for me, is to identify these sell signals in the downtrend rather than thinking this is a 1, 2, 3 formation taking off and going higher. No, it's a pullback, it's a bear flag, and we can see it in the Ichimoku cloud. It screams out this is a sell signal in a downtrend, and it will in the next couple days. If this is breaking, we'll have it here for sure. Now I want to see if the 1-hour time frame is no, it's not already telling us that yet. We don't have the cross. We do have the cross. It's not below the cloud, and the green line hasn't cut through. So even on the 1-hour time frame, it's not saying that it's a sell signal yet. We have to wait maybe this afternoon. If this breaks down below these levels, I'm sure all of these things will confirm, but not yet. And I was surprised. I thought this would be telling us when I zoomed in. I haven't looked at this stuff beforehand. I was busy in the morning. And so here on the 15-minute time frame, yes, we have the crossover negative in the blue and the red. We have the negative cloud. We have the trailing indicator cutting through everything. And so on the 15-minute time frame, it's saying sell. The 1-hour time frame says not yet. The 4-hour time frame as well. Let's watch this unfold now and see which is correct. Is the Ichimoku 15-minute correct? And there's no way to know because you can see it goes below the cloud, and we had all of the sell signals all set up. All of the requirements for the sell signal were in place here below the cloud, and then back up above the cloud. Then it had all of the requirements for a buy signal all laid out here, and sure, it went up a little bit, but now it's a sell signal. So the 15-minute for me is interesting, but really entertainment only. I don't make trading decisions on this because I get whipsawed like crazy. It doesn't work for me. The more I pull back to the 12-hour time frame and I know I wait for it, the better I do, and the less time it takes and the less stressful it is. It's a much better way for me to trade. So now let's finish up by looking at the 4 charts here. We got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Ripple. They all look like they're going down. Litecoin is right against extreme long-term lows right now compared to Bitcoin. Extreme long-term historical lows. I'm surprised that we're not seeing more of a bottom formation structure up here as we're making these lows. But we'll see what goes on with Bitcoin, and especially Bitcoin dominance, because Bitcoin dominance has been making this parallel channel uptrend since April the 1st. And every time it makes this top formation, this potential top formation, I'm watching it. And again, I'm watching this potential top formation and dominance. If the dominance breaks below this green line, most all of our alts are going to be switching from neutral into alert status. From neutral to alert status when this is breaking here. And if it hesitates and then breaks below these levels, all of our alts, the major alts that are the best projects that are going to be taking off and doing the best gains in the first while, those will all be taking into hold status as this is unfolding. And so if you're interested in knowing which coins these are, rather than just seeing every once in a while how many coins are in each category, I think that the patron basic package would be a fantastic subscription for you. It's a fantastic value. You don't find anything like this anywhere else. But of course, I'm biased. Let's zoom back into Bitcoin. It's changing prices. Hello, chart. 1 minute view, entertainment view. We can see some blasts of selling hitting here. We're not poking against the top and, scooping away the sand from the bottom underneath and absorbing it all as it falls. This is sort of dumping into the bottom, and everybody's hope is holding it up right now. And I could be completely wrong, but all of these things now, there's many different things starting to say that this is going to break this trend line. It's going to break below this 1, 2, 3 top formation that we've seen nesting out. And the other day I made a prediction here that we would hit $11,300. And the reason I said that was because of this massive trend. Let me clear this off. Clear this off. And this. And just do a trend line here. Just the most basic of technical analysis tools. And this is where I was sort of anticipating we'd come up to 11,200. There's 400, and then do the bounces back around here. And the reason is I think that the whales are, manipulating the prices, especially when we get to these edges, and they can see when it's the best time to just do a quick drive with the prices. We'll see though, if it comes down here and hesitates and breaks, we are in major bearville, and we're just at the start of it right now. If we're the best price to be able to buy anything with Bitcoin would be right now, if it's coming down, you'd pay the fewest Satoshi for whatever you were buying. If you were to go out there and change it into, gold. Open the gold chart. This is the gold chart. Let's go to the weekly view of gold. It's done a pretty good run up right now. May not be the time to be buying in. We want to buy out of these 1, 2, 3 bottom formations, get your stop loss above your entry, and sort of hang out right now. Wait for it to pull back a little bit and retest some levels. It'll make a 1, 2, 3, and we'll be able to jump on to something like that. And you can trade this using Bitcoin. The better for me is to look at what's going on with silver prices in the weekly. We can see it's finished a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation and broken higher. And it's got a lot of room to go as the world's economy is changing. I think this is going to go significantly higher, way higher. It's going to look like a crypto. Then, of course, because it's a precious metal, it may be that platinum is going to be taking off out of these historical levels on this weekly chart. Doesn't this look like a crypto? It's been crushed down for so long, and it's building this massive 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. I'm thinking that these are all going to be places to go and take off. Maybe even before the cryptos take off, maybe before Bitcoin dominance, where'd we go? Bitcoin dominance eases off and gives us a chance with the cryptos. It may be that putting your Bitcoin into gold may be a better idea right now. Silvergoldbull.com is where I order my precious metals, and they send you a nice roll of coins. It's quite nice. Anyway, I'm off track now. Zoom back in to see what's going on. These are the most interesting moments. Good morning, Don Johnson. Willie Wids, good to have you along. And Ivan, hello, good to see you here. I missed that awesome video yesterday. It will be up again. It was good. I ran through it well. I enjoyed doing it and putting it together. A couple of the people who are lifetime members also said that they enjoyed it and learned some new things. I got some tips and feedback from another one of our lifetime members, and I appreciate both of those. So now I've taken that video down and I'm going through the presentation, cleaning up a few things, getting rid of a few duplicates, and adding in more specific examples of exactly how this trading system works, specifically with Bitcoin. As all of these things have come up and we've done all of these observations, and we noticed exactly when prices were screaming at us out of a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that prices were going to go up. And even though I was in denial, everything was pointing that this was a top formation that prices were going to come down. And so when you put these lessons together and you start practicing them over and over again, these chart patterns start to stand out to you, and you start to wait for them. There's no hurry. That's the best thing of it. And so now as we're starting to see the top formations going down the other way, there's no hurry. We can start to build out our positions slowly, and as we're proven correct, we will be able to add on to these short positions as Bitcoin's coming back down. I think it would be healthy for Bitcoin to come back down. If I go to the weekly view and clean off that stuff, I think it would be healthy for our 1, 2, 3 formations in the larger sense for this to come back here. It would build a much larger pattern that will take off. And this is where we can build like a springboard that's going to launch parabolic. We had such a springboard before, and it took that much time for that to build up, where it came back and gave us the deep springboard. So I do believe it just looks like this would be a better structure to build a parabolic move off of. And it doesn't make no sense, except that I've seen these patterns. We've seen these patterns. Where was that now? In silver, in platinum. Look how long this took. This is from 2011 until now to build this up. So if we go to the weekly of silver, here's again from 2011 peak. It looked great here in 2009, didn't it? Wouldn't you say? And then down we went, and a little bit down more. And you know, when those backed futures guys get going, they want Bitcoin as cheap as possible. They've got billions of dollars to beat the shit out of it and squeeze out of it every single little player out there. Scare the crap out of us, put all of the negative news out there, and they are soaking it all up, just like they've been doing with silver. Go and ask JP Morgan about his silver accumulation over this period of time. Ask them about their short interest in the market through this period of the time. Anyway, I'm going off on conspiracy theories, but I think that Bitcoin is going to be getting some bad news from this point down. So let's watch those short positions. Let's watch that Ichimoku cloud for sell signals in the downtrend. And keep your risk control tight. Learn to only hold your winners and cut those losers. Start off small. It's easier to cut the losers when they're just small trades. And it's much more fun to add on to it when you're correct. It is. Anyway. Hey, Don Johnson, thanks for saying it's a good vid. And thanks for your great info from Holland. I love it. I can't wait to travel around Europe and meet some of the people that I talk to on these streams on a regular basis. I can't wait to come and taste all of your cuisine. Anyway, I'll sign off for now. Thanks again for tuning in. Keeps me regular at this. Keeps my trading improved as well. Thanks again, and I'll sign off for this episode and remind you all to head over to Patreon, sign up and support the stream. Cheers and bye for now.